Hello everybody, Andrew Hutchings here, and this is a relationship video. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but last night on Rant of the Machines, Peter brought up how this one guy, Elliot Hells something, I don't know who it is, I couldn't find him on Google, but how this one fitness guy was with his high school sweetheart for his whole life. So for that reason, he should not give dating advice. Now, I disagreed, well, partially, saying that, yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of experience with, dating several girls. Now, I guess it depends on what your idea of dating is. Like, maybe you think of dating as, oh, I go on a date with this girl this day, I go on a date with this other girl next week, or maybe you think of dating as, this 3-year process of being with one girl. I don't know. However, while someone who's only been with one person certainly can't teach you about getting with lots of girls and how you need to approach the new girl and all that stuff, which I have no experience with because I've only been with one girl myself, what we can tell you about is that it's a unique skill to make a relationship work. And it's not just a skill, it's an understanding of its importance. So nowadays in our society, people don't have very much commitment to things. Everything is easy come, easy go. I don't know, there's just not much emphasis put on when something's not how you like. You don't just ditch it and look for something else. You work on it and fix it. You improve it. You get a car that has a problem, you like the car, you fix the problem. You buy a house that has a problem, but you like the house, you don't just sell the house. Oh yeah, the kitchen's got a little leak in the... let's get rid of it, let's find a new house. No, you're an idiot. The new house is gonna have problems too. You find a girl who you like, but there's a problem. Oh, I'll just find that different girl's gonna have a problem too. Guess what? You've got problems also. Everyone has problems. But at the end of the day, you gotta go, I like this one. I want this one. I'm gonna stick with this one. Because you can just go from one to another your whole life. And you're just starting over. Because no matter which one you stick with, there's gonna be issues and you're gonna have to overcome them. So you're just delaying the inevitable, all the while missing out on a good relationship that you could have because you just run and try to find a new one that you imagine isn't going to have some issue, but even if it doesn't have that issue, it's going to have another issue. So, yeah, of course, I'm not saying that the first girl you ever meet in your life, you should stick with her. She might not be the one for you. But if you find a girl or a guy who, maybe you're a girl watching this, and you like that person, you really like that person, you get along really well, when you're with somebody that, you work, maybe it's not who you work with, but there is also a biochemical reaction which causes, the initial love, or whatever you want to call it. Because there's a big difference between long-term love and short-term love. Short-term, our bodies are designed to produce chemical reaction to get us to reproduce and create offspring. That's what falling in love is. It's your brain getting you hooked and really attracted to make babies. And it's not designed to do that forever because it doesn't take forever to get together and make babies. So it does wear off. But yeah, I got a little off topic. So if you find someone who you have fallen in love with, had that biochemical reaction, your body knows that's a good one to reproduce with, and you like them, on a person level, you get along well, you're pretty happy together, you gotta make a decision at one point. Am I gonna look for another one for some reason? Who knows if you'll even find some other one that you get all that stuff with. Or are you going to... I forget the saying, but like, stake your ground. You're gonna decide, I'm staying here, I don't care what comes our way, my way, whatever you want to say. I'm staying here, this is where I'm gonna build my house. If something comes, I'll deal with it. At some point, you gotta make that decision, and she's gotta make that decision. You've both gotta have the right mindset and realize that in the long term, you need to find someone who you do plan on marrying. Why would you be with somebody if you don't plan? Like, of course, maybe you know for sure you're only going to be somewhere for a month and you just want some company for that month, and then you find some girl you get along with. Hey, let's just enjoy the month together. Sure. But at the end of the day, at some point in time, unless you're just the weirdest person on, like, still, you should, no matter what you do, even if you're traveling all over the world, ideally, you end up finding a girl who's going to be with you and travel all over the world with you, so it doesn't even matter. Like, it's very hard to think of a situation in which your ultimate goal is not to find a life partner. So, if you're finding someone who has no intentions on sticking with you, it's a waste of time. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't ever do that, because, yeah, you can have fun, sure. But you gotta find someone who also cares about what's truly important, which is finding someone who's going to be loyal and with you for the rest of your life. You both have this mindset, you both have that biochemical reaction, you both get along well, you're happy together, and you both decide, we're gonna get married, or maybe you don't decide that yet, but like, we want to get married. At some point, we're going to get married. We're someday going to have kids. So yeah, there's this issue that you've got that bothers me. If it's not too difficult for you to change, please change it. And then the two of you decide, like, perhaps my wife tells me about something. If it's, can you cover, this is something she told me years ago, like when we first met, like that it's like rude or just not sightly, or I don't remember how she said it, but it's like, to yawn just with your mouth open. And, I saw the logic in that. Like, it does make some sense to cover your mouth so not everyone's just looking in your mouth. But the ultimate reason was, like, if it actually bothers her and it's not difficult for me to do, and it's just, like, of course, if your wife starts telling you every little thing you gotta change, but if there's just one thing, like, I think that's the only thing she's told me to, like, change based on what I do. See, I'll give her that one thing. Now, you could say she shouldn't care about it. It's not very important, but she grew up where you should cover your mouth when you yawn. I thought it was a good idea, too. Like, yeah, imagine being in a group of, like, good people in a polite setting and you yawn with your mouth open at the table. Like, yeah, it looks a little better to cover your mouth. Now, of course, she starts saying, like, brush your hair this way instead of that way, and, like, wear pink shirts instead of red shirts. Like, at some point, it's insanity. But if there's, like, one little thing once every few years or something, yeah, you make compromises. And it's, my wife, she used to be embarrassed to ask for, like, and it was only an issue because I didn't used to speak Russian. I mean, I'm not fluent still, but when we would go to restaurants, I relied on her to do the speaking. And she used to be embarrassed to ask for, like, my custom orders. I come from the United States, where it's very common. You're like, I want this, this, and this on this. And they're like, oh, okay. Here, people don't think about that very much. They're like, I'll have this one, exactly how it comes. Like, it doesn't occur to them that they can actually be like, I don't want this on it. Instead, give me this. Like, I want to make it exactly how I want it. She was, like, that was bizarre to her. That was embarrassing. She didn't want to, like, seem strange to the person at the restaurant. Now, she doesn't. Because she realized, it's really not strange to get what you want on your food. Like, you're paying for it, may as well get what you're gonna like. Why get stuff you don't like? And it's not like they can't do it. It's not difficult to do. And worst case scenario is they say no. So yeah, now she will order food how we want it. But also I can speak much better Russian, so I don't have to rely on her to do that. Yeah, I can't think of the best examples, but the point is, you decide we're gonna be together. If there's some issues that come up, we'll work through them. Now the issues I talked about, they're more of the superficial, less important ones. But of course, there's gonna be bigger issues that come up. Who knows, perhaps one of you has a really high sex drive. Perhaps the other has a really low sex drive. Somehow you're gonna have to work that out. It may be difficult, but the solution is not to just break up and find somebody else, because inevitably you're gonna run into a problem with them too. Maybe at first it's just the yawning, something on that level, but eventually there is gonna be some sort of more significant problem. So it's better just to stick with the one you're with, who you love, who you get along with, who you're pretty happy with. Now, of course, maybe an issue comes up that makes you really not happy with each other. But you gotta decide, we're gonna work through this instead of giving up. Just something people don't get nowadays. It's like the idea of marriage, for example, is for it to be permanent. Divorce isn't something you traditionally did. You may go, oh, that's crazy. Why would you get married if you can't get divorced? No, what's really crazy is, why would you get married if you can get divorced? That defeats the purpose of marriage. The purpose of marriage is, I'm gonna be with you despite any hardships we encounter, and we're gonna work through it. And that's been forgotten nowadays. Why do relationships fail? Because people don't try to make them not fail. Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, we tried. No, you didn't. You just probably sat on the couch like, I don't want to listen to you. And you both smoked some weed and yeah. Nothing against weed, just people nowadays are lazy and pathetic. And they get what they deserve from that. Dysfunctional relationships. It's only when you put the hard work in to work through all your problems that you're gonna have a good relationship. Now, I can't even think of all the stuff we work through if I try to. And also you might go, but if you have to work through all these things, maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. Humans don't just exist perfect, how many days do you even fully get along with yourself? Good point. Don't expect two people to perfectly get along, especially if you don't try to. Maybe it works for an hour, maybe it works for a day. In the long run, it's not going to work unless you make it work. So yeah, I used to people didn't understand, when me and my wife first met, but it was a lot of work. They're like, oh, you have it easy, you two live apart, she's in Belarus, you're in California, you don't even have to be together. No, there was no sex holding our relationship together. There was no going out together, doing fun things, holding our relationship together. There was only our communication. And I'm very grateful that we had to develop our relationship that way. Because if you have no foundation for your relationship and it's just, let's have fun, have sex together, do drugs together, go on roller coasters together, it's likely not going to work out too well unless you settle down from that and then you start building a foundation of how you know each other, everything. It's a lot of work. That's what I was starting to say about when we first met each other, and I'm not putting my wife down at all by saying this, it was a lot me doing the work. Now, she was young when we first met. She was 16 years old. I was 20 years, she was like 16 and 3/4 of a year old. I was 20 years old. And I took it upon myself to always make things work out well. Like, she also, like, did. But I realized that if we want to have a good relationship, like, no one's going to do it for us. If also just being there for each other, that's work too. Like, if she was sad about something, now you may go, oh, this is dysfunctional. She was 16 years old. Like, I realized, like, she's gonna get sad sometimes, and she needs me to help her. So, like, I could be in class, but I realized, like, she's sad about something, I would just leave class. Like, you may, oh, how dare you, you don't focus on your school as much as on your girlfriend. School's important. Your wife or husband, that's also very important. Are you going to fail your class and fail out of your university because you walk out for a little while? If not, go speak to your wife on the phone. Also, I'm sure that if you do walk out of your class and your professor would normally bust you, like mark you down or something, because you just walk out of class for no reason. If you say, hey, my wife was really sad, she needed me, good chance your professor will be like, you know, you're not supposed to just walk out of class, but I'll give you a pass on this one because you were there. I mean, you might get a bad professor who's going to be like, you don't get to do that, she can wait, but that's what makes somebody better than somebody else. The person who would let their girlfriend or wife be sad without them because they value their class more than their wife. Now, of course, like, you gotta make sure that you pass. Look, if you are going to get a job which requires a university degree, you do need to graduate your university so you can get that job, or else you're screwing over both you and your wife for the future. So, like, obviously you gotta use some intelligence. But the point is, you gotta be there for your wife. Like, especially when you're in the beginning of a relationship, it's a lot of work. It's hard to explain all the things, but if your relationship is not any work, perhaps there's something wrong. Now, I've only had one relationship. Who knows? Maybe there are people that just, everything's perfect. They don't have to help each other with anything. They don't have any issues with each other. Both of them just have perfect lives and nothing ever comes up. But the reality is, especially if you're young, I mean, even if you're older, because people still, like, have issues when they're older, is you're gonna have issues, she's gonna have issues, related to each other, not related to each other, and you gotta be there for each other. You gotta always support each other. Like, it's your job to help your wife be mentally healthy, for lack of a better way to put it. If there's some sort of thing she's got in her head that's making her sad, and she's fixated on it, you gotta somehow figure out how you're gonna help her to realize that she shouldn't be sad about it. You may go, oh, that's not my job. Okay, now you get the sad wife, don't complain about it. But you want a happy wife who's gonna help make you happy? Well, you gotta help make her happy. If you're gonna just be like, oh, that's her problem, let her deal with it. Okay, but it's not gonna benefit you too much. You gotta be intelligent. Like, not everything's a direct, that's my problem. It's like I'm talking to a friend of mine, says about how he's stressed out and stuff, how he's not productive, how he wants to, like, do something fun in life, but, like, he can't do that because he needs to be productive, but not doing it makes him stressed out, and he's not productive. And I tell him, like, you know, you gotta look at the bigger picture. Perhaps by taking a break and doing that fun stuff, you'll actually be able to be more productive. If doing that non-productive activity actually ends up making you more productive, it's a productive activity. If going out and getting drunk with your friends means that for the whole next week you can work hard and you're not like in a depressed mood. Go out and get drunk with your friends and then work hard the next week. If the alternative is you're going to be depressed the whole week and not get any work done. Now, obviously you can say, well, you can develop a bad habit where you get drunk all the time. Of course, life is complicated. Nothing's really simple, but you gotta look at things as a whole. It's like when you address the human body for medical stuff. So many people are like, well, this is not good for your kidney, this is not good. Let's look at how it is for the whole body, including your mental state. Because you cannot separate the organs, the mind. It's all together. Everything combined equals your health. If something's a little bit bad for one organ, but it brings your overall health higher, it's good for you. If it's good for one organ, but it screws with your head, it makes you have issues, your overall health goes down, not good for you. So yeah, realize that the easiest way to, I don't know whether, but it's beneficial to care about making your wife or husband happy. Like, think of how great that is, really. You go through life with someone who is always trying to make your life as great as possible. Why would you want to go through life with someone who's not trying to make your life as great as possible? So, like, say there's me and my wife. I'll try to make her life as good as possible. You think she's gonna not like that? Of course she's gonna like it. Like, who wouldn't want someone to help make their life as good as possible? Just like she should help make my life as good as possible. Why wouldn't you? And the more you make each other's life as good as possible, well, you're both having better lives. Now, of course, there could be a disbalance if only you are trying to make your wife's life good, and she's not trying to do anything to make your life good. Well, you're gonna start to hate her. If she's only doing stuff for you and you do nothing for her, well, she's going to start to hate you. You both need to make each other's lives as good as you can because it benefits both of you and you're going to be like, why settle down here if you can settle up here? Now, of course, there's a balance because overall, as the highest quality of life is not just how much stuff you could do or like perhaps doing a little bit less for your wife means you're more relaxed and she gets a lot of benefits and like she does the same thing so she stays a little more relaxed, gives you a lot of benefits. But overall, if you factor in that little bit of relaxation, your overall quality is higher than if like you're just go trying to do stuff. Once again, things are complicated and it's not just black or white. But certainly if you both just sit around all day and don't do anything to make each other's lives good, you're probably not going to have that good of lives. Now, of course, you can go, well, you should be working on making your own life good. Yes, of course you should be working on making your own life good. But if you could choose to be with somebody who's not trying to make your life better, or be with somebody who is trying to make your life better, why not choose the person who's trying to make your life even better? Why not? Why would you choose somebody who's not trying to make your life better? Is it because you go, oh no, they should just not, like, voice it? I don't know. I'll pick the girl who's going to try to make my life better, and she's going to pick the guy who's trying to make her life better. Like, it's not a radical idea. You can even apply it to interesting situations where people normally would say, like, oh, that's not a good relationship. Let's pick, like, an old rich guy and a young, beautiful girl. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, she's just with him for the money. So what? If they have a good deal, he trades her money in exchange for her beauty and her company. It makes his life better, it makes her life better. What's wrong with that? That's the goal at the end of the day. Make your life better. Not worse, better. Now, of course, you also want a life partner, so ideally, you find someone who can make your life better and is your life partner. Now, of course, being your life partner also makes your life better. But if you had to pick have no life partner and no sexy girl who you trade money for her company, like, of course it's better to have no life partner but have that girl than to have no life partner and no girl. If that girl can choose, like, would I rather have no money and no old guy I'm with, or old guy plus all that money? Well, I mean, that's her decision. She's got to weigh the two against each other, and if it's a net positive, why not? See, look for someone who's going to be loyal to you for a long time. Well, I mean, ideally forever. And someone who's going to make your life better. And realize that you've got to work through problems. There's always going to be problems. You can either run every time there's a problem and find someone else who you're going to have problems with, and then run from them to the next person and the next person and the next person. Or when you find someone who works pretty good with you and you really like them and you're attracted to them, you decide, we're going to be together, problems are going to come, and we're going to deal with them. AndrewHutchins.org, where you can hire me for consultations, coaching advice, diet advice. I mean, not bodybuilding show advice. I've never said that. But like health information, fitness information, whatever you're interested in. My Instagram is natural_true_fitness. Check out my other videos. And I've got a book on tendinitis. If you've got tendinitis, I personally would go on Amazon right now. Jeff Bezos may be a good guy, may be a bad guy, but Amazon will get that book to you the fastest. So I would go on Amazon, type in a systematic guide to defeating tendinitis, maybe type by Andrew Hutchins, click enter or go or whatever it is, click on the book, find the fastest shipping option, and get it as soon as you can. I don't make any extra money from you clicking the faster shipping option. The reason I say that is the faster you get this book, the faster you're going to get rid of your tendinitis, the faster you can get back to enjoying your life. Because at the end of the day, like, why do you go through life unhappy or miserable in pain? There's no reason. Just like you don't pick a girl who makes you unhappy. You don't go through life with tendinitis if you can get rid of your tendinitis.